All right, showing nice fire here. Got my 10 kilowatt, 48 volt, split phase output, 240 volt, 120 volt inverter from SunGold Power here. Not into unboxings, but I just want to make sure everything's good on camera and give me a chance to talk about this. So, inspection test. Yeah, I chose this. Doing kind of like a home backup system, emergency backup, and kind of like a partial off-grid sort of thing, but not full off-grid. A bunch of tools and wires here. So yeah, this one was around $1,600. Oh, this thing is big. $1,600. Like I said, it's capable of 10,000 watts. Which good. Also has a really good PV input power. It can do up to 11,000 watts. It's got two inputs, so about 5,500 watts each. And that's a voltage range of 125 to 425 volts. And max open voltage is, I believe, 500 volts. But it also can do up to 22 amps of input. So if you need to split each of those MPPTs into maybe like a southeast and a southwest facing to sort of get that better lobe, you can do 2 strings to each MPPT. So yeah, like I said, well, $1,600, not super cheap, but for what you're paying for, a lot of capabilities. I mean, we'll find out. I'm going to test it out, hanging on the wall. It was this, or I know there's EG. I know the other popular one is that EG4 6000 XP, but I mean that's only 6,000 watts, less PV input. I'm probably only going to do one of the 2 strings, so maybe 5,000 watts max input. I'm not doing like full off grid. But yeah, the other one, the 6000 XP, didn't have much of PV, and it's only 6,000 watts, and it's about the same price. So I know that one's popular. I think I spent a lot on advertising. What are you looking for there? On Fawn and Toad or whatever. But I'll show you what I'm going to have it on the wall here. What I plan on putting it up. Okay, so here is the wall partially set up. How I'm going to do this. All right, so let me get a little bit closer here. Right about there. All right. So as you see, nothing's hooked up yet. All right, so we get our camera stand to hold steady here. That'll be good. There. All right. So from the outside, I got this in a conduit. I got my PV coming to here. Inverter is going to be right here. All right, so my PV coming in. I guess, again, I'm only doing 1 string. And then my battery, this is going to be to the battery, positive, negative. The negative side goes through a little shunt here. And then this will be going to one side of the battery. I just want you to be able to see it now. And then the positive side, I got the switch here. Let's see if you can see it. Yep. And then, of course, a fuse. And then to the battery over there. So when I get PV, you'll use those DC cables to charge up the batteries. And then when I need an AC load, I'll also use the DC cables to invert the load. The load is here. All right, so what I got is 6-gauge Romex. I wish I wouldn't have used Romex. I should just use regular conduit or wire. But I got the Romex in a conduit. It's a 1-inch conduit. I got plenty of room. And this feeds into my breaker panel. I got an interlock kit. So that's how I'm going to power everything. But I also have a direct line to my water heater. So if I want to, without disturbing the whole panel, if I want to dump some, shed some, I guess, stored up load, I can use the water heater. So yeah, I'll show you in a minute, but I'm not going to have a fuse on the batteries. I don't think that's necessary. I think that just adds another kink to the system. I'm going to be using 12-volt batteries, 2 rows of 4. All right, and I'll show you. I got everything kind of set up, but I'm going to show you in a minute what everything looks like once it's installed. If there's anything you want me to show you how to do it, such as like, I don't know, put the make the cables, something like that, I can make that. Just put in the comments below, and then I'll make a video on it. But for now, I just want to do a quick review of the inverter. All right. All right. Also, forgot to mention, I am mounting all this on a cement board. Works as fire retardant, and also found out that if you use this, you generally don't have to. Mine looks like Swiss cheese because I keep on moving stuff around. It's got all kinds of holes in it, but you generally don't need to use wall anchors unless you're hanging something heavy, because you got between the drywall behind here and this, it's actually pretty thick, and I use these I don't know, short little screws, and they got the big head on there. I found that they work really good. So, yep, I will probably mount this tomorrow morning, and we'll see how it goes. Whew, all right, done. Man, that was kind of tough. Mounted up, 60 pounds wasn't bad. I use these anchors here. They can handle like 100 pounds. 2 of them on top. That's the important ones, and then I just use some regular screws on the bottom there. First off, when you're hooking up all this stuff, just make sure power off on everything, especially PV. That's the most dangerous. Be safe. PV on your disconnect, sometimes it gets confusing. Green is actually off and red is on. So I'll double check with the multimeter that everything is off. Let me zoom in and show you how I hooked this all up. 1 second, Mom. All right, and that's the wife. All right, so first, I don't actually have any AC coming in. This is the water heater, and I connected that on the back end side. So you're supposed to connect it here, and then since I wanted to connect the 10 gauge and the 6 gauge, I connected that 10 gauge on the back end side. Not sure if that's safe or legal or whatever, but that's the way I did it. 6 gauge, again, do not use Romex. Romex sucks. Pain. To make it easier, you can take this little block off here, and it'll give you a little bit more room. You can pull that out. It's just 2 little screws right there and right there. So yeah, that one goes back to the interconnect, mostly for emergencies, or if I have a lot of power to shed, I can use that one. But most of the time, I'm just going to be using to power the hot water heater. Yep, and then I put a ground on there. Moving along, these are 2 gauge wires, no issues here. And then the PV is, again, I'm just using one PV, 8 gauge marine cable. I stored the excess wire in here. I think I'll be fine. Expensive wire, I don't want to cut it, just in case I have to move it. I don't think I'll have to move it, but just in case. As you can see now, the batteries are, let me see if I can show the batteries a little bit better. Here, I can bring it back. Okay, the batteries are connected. And it is connected in series parallel. Let me zoom in on one. So, yep, everything's 2 gauge. And then I got on the back, it's hard to see, I have these positive balance leads that go to the bottom row. Let me zoom back out here. Let's see, zooming back out. So yep, the positive leads go to the next row. So make sure my camera looks good. Turn it over here. Okay. So yeah, probably get a lot of grief for using 12-volt batteries. On a 48-volt system, obviously if you use 4, it works out. 2 sets of 4. Now, the downside of using, well, the upside is per kilowatt hour. This was the cheapest route to go. Also, probably easier to resell these to like the person that uses the RV. If I do get a camper, which I eventually will, hopefully, I can kind of do double duty and usually put these all in parallel also. But yeah, the big downside is that they get out of balance ever so often. Even if you buy a battery balancer, it doesn't really do anything because you need to balance the state of charge, not the voltage. Battery balancers just do the voltage balance. What I found helps is actually 2 rows actually balance a lot better. So I keep track of the capacity. I do like a strong battery on top with a weak battery on bottom, and I kind of mix and match so each row has the same like total capacity. But even still, every couple months it's going to get a little bit too out of 10-20% out of where the bottom one hits 0 and the rest are 20, so you lose like a 20% capacity, meaning you have to take them all off, and then hook them up in parallel for a while and rebalance them all. Not a big deal. Usually I can go a couple months before I have to do that. Just something to do on a rainy day. But yeah, so that's why I did that. Now, about to turn this on. Let's see here. Let's crank it back over here. Now, whenever you turn these on, you don't want to surge all this power in, so you want to have a resistor. You can find these anywhere. You want to kind of bridge that gap through the resistor. So before I turn this on, I'm going to bridge it using this resistor. And you see it is activating. That's a safer way of doing that. Now I can turn the switch on. And then I still don't have the PV hooked up because I want to get into the parameters and figure out the battery settings to do that. I'm just going to pause here because I'm going to play with the settings a little bit, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. All right. Yeah, there is too many dang settings. But you know what? I wish they had like just a default lithium iron phosphate setting. That's like a popular battery now. I think I put the boost voltage at 55 and maybe the float voltage at 54. I don't know if that's the right answer, but we'll see. And then okay, back to the home screen. I'm going to turn on the hot water heater. That should draw about 5,000 or 6,000 watts. Right now I'm showing steady state 53.7 volts. That seems kind of low. I got all my batteries fully charged. It should be higher than that. Let me check how the connections are good. As a matter of fact, I got my Redodo app. Oh, it actually says 54 volts. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, okay, so I don't know what I was thinking. Oh yeah, I guess. Alright, so let's see what happens when I get this guy cooking here. Alright. Alright, so fans kicked in, good size load. Seems to be working good. I got everything open so you can see it. Just be careful. Obviously you'd have this closed. I don't see where it shows, hold on, how many watts it's using. Oh, just touch up and down. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Just touch up and down to see other parameters without going into the settings. 95 amps, 2.3 kilowatts. Okay. bear with me. Okay, I think that's the right 4.7 kilowatts. So this thing is rather efficient. Let's see. Well, my Redodo says 4,000 watts, but whatever. The point is, it works. I just got to figure out the settings a little bit more. I don't want to monkey with it too much. I don't want to make this video too long. Well, just let me know which you want me to test with it. Matter of fact, right now I'm going to turn on the PV since I drew down some of that power. We'll see if the solar works as well. I'll be right back. All right, let me turn on my disconnect. All right, here goes nothing. Okay. Alright, so we got here. Okay, now it's making a different noise. Woo-wee. Alright, let's see if we can see where the PV is. It's doing something. Exciting. I don't know. Inverters. Ten kilowatts. Oh, well, seems to be working. Just not familiar with the screen here. I want to see 52.1. Oh, PV here. PV 1. 110 volt PV charging. Oh, it's kind of going on and off because I really, the batteries are staying full right now. But again, we can do a full test with the PV and output another time. But just wanted to see how everything works. Looks like it's going to be a winner. Might clean up my cables a little bit. Probably not. I just don't want to hear the hardcore cable gurus giving me crap. Yeah. So, any questions? Anything you want me to show a little bit closer? Again, guys, be safe when you're doing all this. Oh, SunGold Power. Let's circle back to that. So there's only, like I said, only 2 different brands that make inverters, or 2 or 3, not a whole lot. SunGold Power, they sort of just distribute it out. They have their own support team. They say they're based in California, but they always seem to answer their emails at like 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. So I'm not sure. I think they're still, like, most of their help is out of China, but they speak good English. They respond to you really fast. Seem like a good company. A lot of people are happy with them. Good deals on their stuff. You know, they don't